Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and today we're playing Hades 2, the new action RPG roguelite Greek mythology game that just released in early access today, and the sequel to the award-winning original Hades game from 2020. The game is available on Steam for $30 US, and though early access can be a scary phrase, the first Hades also went through early access and was great even at that stage of development, and supposedly, Hades 2 already has more content than its predecessor. That, and the game is by Supergiant Games, who also made Bastion, Transistor, and Pyre, so these devs have a great track record for gameplay, storytelling, visual art, and music. I'm a big fan, so let's get into the gameplay. The original Hades was only the second game that we ever played on this channel, and it was the main reason why I started making videos on YouTube, so I'm really excited to see what this game is going to be like. I have played a lot of the original Hades, so I'm not a complete noob. It's probably been at least a year since I last played, so forgive me, I'm gonna be a little rusty. Obviously, the first Hades game, for those who are not familiar, features Zagreus, Hades' son, trying to escape the underworld and escape from his father. You will notice we are definitely not Zagreus. We are Melanoe, but exactly how the characters relate to the characters from the first Hades game, we'll have to see. What is this? Restore... I assume that's mana, but we already had full mana, so I guess we didn't really need that. So we'll explore around a bit. You know, we're certainly not about to try to speed run. So this is my first time playing, of course.
Lost souls. I'll make the Titan pay.
Okay, so we've got a few different moves here. We have... Oh, hold on, more enemies spawning in that we'll have to take out.
Perish.
Even more at that. Although I am curious to see what abilities these enemies have. At the same time, yeah, not exactly all that keen on letting them use all those powers. Okay, so there's a little bit of a tell before they throw those projectiles. There's still even more. So as you can see, they'll respawn in a few different waves before we are through with this room. There will be several different rooms. This guy looks bigger. And then once we finish a room, we will usually get some kind of reward. Now, in the previous Hades games, you would get boons from different gods trying to help you escape from the underworld. And there were one or two notable exceptions. There were a lot of big-name gods, but I'm hoping this might be Apollo.
Just a spell. It's just another spell. 10 words. In the name of Hades, Olympus, I accept this message.
Okay, similar dialogue as well to what Zagreus from the previous game had. It is Apollo.
Sunshine. Look, we can't get to the Titan, but if you truly need to stop him, then the least I can do is light your way down.
Okay, so very cool. The original Hades, as I said, was all about Zagreus trying to make it out of the underworld, escape / fight his father, Hades, of course, hence the name of the game. Although, some early mention of Kronos here, the Titan of Time. So I'm curious, are we still going to be going up against Hades himself? Or is there a totally different antagonist here? So now we'll have 3 choices. We can upgrade our main attack, make it deal more damage, and in a larger area, 40% damage increase. Your sprint is faster and inflicts daze on nearby enemies. Hold A to run at top speed. I'm using a Xbox controller for what it's worth, although I am playing on PC. So, okay, I admittedly have not really tried to sprint yet. Daze. Afflicted foes have a 20% chance to deal no damage, and it lasts for 9 seconds. That sounds strong, especially if you're just sprinting around enemies. And it's sort of a passive form of defense. I kind of like that. Lucid gain. While standing in your casts, gradually restore, I assume this is mana, or magic, restoration, plus 12 every 1 second. So we've not yet really experimented with the various skills, but we can do that in just a minute. So I think I'm going to go with the blinding sprint. It may not be the most exciting of options here,
Need my aid.
but I'm hoping that we will
See if I need theirs.
get more options to upgrade later on. So we have a basic attack like this, which is mostly what I was using in that previous encounter, and as you can see, if you do it a few times, the exact way that you attack differs a little bit. I used that ability once or twice, which has a larger area of effect, but seems much slower. Looks as though we can't do it until the circle goes away. And then here's the sprint. We are lightning fast, wow. Okay, so in the previous Hades, there was a dash, like that. but there was not a full-blown hold it down to sprint for a bazillion times the speed button, and there does not seem to be any limit to how long we can sprint for. So that seems pretty cool. Other than that, I'm just gonna spam buttons and see if there's anything else. Oh, okay, that looks like it might be our cast. Okay, and it costs us mana, or magic, it looks like, to do that. Okay, so maybe we don't want to spam that button, but that's sort of our ranged super attack of sorts, and then obviously we have the 30 health as well. Bottom right corner, looks like we have some monies as well. So let's proceed. Don't need to learn everything right now. We'll see what else we can run into here. Okay, now admittedly, I tried to dash and was too slow about it. So I am probably going to do a fair bit of that. Getting a little too greedy with my attacks every once in a while, I would bet. Oh, and then I tried to use the other AoE attack and then just whipped. That's what I was looking for before. It's going to take me a little bit to get used to the controls again. I've definitely used the dash when I need to use, the area attack, and vice versa, several times here. So I might be best served just sticking with a simple combo, at least initially. Try to get those guys, what was it, dazed? Technically, oh yeah, we took a bunch of damage. So this is a roguelite.
That's settled.
Which means that we will die. That is not a question of if, it is just a matter of when. That looks intriguing as well, but let's see what this is all about. Probably took way more damage there than we ever should have.
I'll need these soon enough.
Okay, don't know what that is yet, but it looks like it'll have some implications later on, some benefit later on. This looks significant, but apparently we can't do anything here at the moment. Okay, I'm going to try not to die in this next zone, but I probably will, just based on how much health we have. So here you see we actually have an option of choosing 2 different rooms, and there is an icon on each of the entryways that is supposed to tell you what the reward is at the end of the room. This is the thing we just picked up, but I don't really know what it is, and I don't think we've ever seen this. So, maybe we'll go for whatever this new thing is. Oh.
Spindles.
They look very fast. Does that hit them when it's on the ground like that? Not really. Doesn't seem like it. Looks like it's only, the original hit. The initial attack that does it. Have an AoE. It's kind of large, to tell you the truth. So wait for them to do it to the extent possible. Try not to get trapped in a corner here. We have some half-decent range, though, even with our basic attack. I want to be careful, because it was when I started trying to use more of the other skills that I got ourselves in some trouble last time. We can stun the enemies a little bit, it seems like. Try to use this, play it a little bit safer. Get the ranged attack. Okay, so what is this? Gain a different thing. It kind of looked like the magic icon, or mana of sorts, but doesn't seem to have been the case, because that number did not change. And it doesn't seem as though we really restore that, at least not automatically. So this, based on the previous Hades, is going to be increased maximum health, which certainly seems like we could use right about now. And this looks like monies. Obols, I believe, was the term that they used in the previous Hades. Let's go for the health, just because I'm pretty sure we need this right about now. Oh, and this is way more enemies than we had last time. This concerns me considerably. Yeah, we're toast. We are so toast.
Return to Shadow now.
Okay, so now we get to see what happens, though, when we go down. Again, I definitely did not do particularly well, and especially in, that second room where we took a fair bit of damage. But this is part of the game,
Back already.
so I think we'll learn a lot from what happens when you die.
Damn it.
So we're in this new area, and we can confide in this frog?
See what I get for staying out all night, Phrynos.
Phrynos? I'm unfamiliar with who Phrynos is, if this is actually a character from Greek mythology.
Mm.
Is he going to turn to a prince? Maybe not now, but eventually. At the end of the game, I'm sure he will. Rude. That looks like
This
Zagreus.
old unfinished painting.
And Hades.
Don't look away.
And Persephone.
Don't forget all that the Titan took from you.
And that's probably Melinoe, the little child that they're holding. So the game, first of all, I didn't even mention this, but it looks beautiful. Very similar stylistically to the previous Hades game and to Supergiant's other games as well. Oh. Who do we have here?
Who dares disturb my eternal rest? You trifle with powers far beyond your comprehension, witch. Speak.
And speaking...
Was
Oh?
pretty decent, right, Mel? Maybe pushing it. Okay if I call you witch like that?
Some great voice acting already, you can tell. I was gonna say, based on what I remember from the previous early access from the first Hades game, because I did play it even way back when it was before full release, they had some placeholder assets. They had sort of a generic visual for characters in particular that they had not yet ironed out how they wanted them to look, so that might be something that we see here a little bit. And it looked like before Dora transformed, as though that could have potentially been the case.
Which worked for me in context. And a solid haunting all in all, Dora. But I better run. Something I have to do.
Explore, perhaps? Nah. Dora can do that by herself. But we are Princess of the Underworld, so that further reinforces that it seems as though we might be Zagreus' little sister.
Then be gone.
Though not super clear on what canonically has happened to Zagreus. Oh? Adios? Maybe? Possibly? Maybe not? I do like the way that this area looks.
And show no weakness.
Crossroads. I mean, I just want to take in the scenery for a little bit here. Looks beautiful. The music is very... I mean, it's almost nothing at the moment, but I think when we get back out in the action, it'll probably pick up again. We can take a closer look, closer listen at that point. What is this?
The rivers overflowed back there.
Okay. Looks like maybe an area we'll be able to access later, but not quite yet. So these... Oh?
Come here.
Other shades. These ghost-like creatures around here. Curious what we can and cannot interact with. This... boiling pot of sorts? This cauldron?
It's being purified.
I don't know what it is, but perhaps this person can tell us.
Time forced
Hecate.
our hand, Melanoi. Various soul expected you to slay our enemy last night on a new moon, no less. But you accomplished something of great import.
And she looks very cool, especially with the dramatic pose. Very witch-like. Witch of the Crossroads, fitting, I guess, then.
I lack such forgiveness for my failure, Mistress Hecate. The Titan yet lives, and Olympus yet burns, while I'm back where I started. What is it I accomplished?
Olympus burns, she says. Okay, the plot thickens.
You're here to speak of it. Recovered in body, if not in spirit. You've not failed, merely begun. Thus may you learn, grow stronger, and complete your task. Death to Kronos.
Okay, so it sounds like Kronos attacked Olympus, took it over, Olympus burns. We maybe attempted to stop him from doing that, save Olympus, but our perception is that we failed. So we're all down in the dumps, but then Hecate says, don't worry, you still have time. That was just the beginning of your quest.
Death to Kronos.
And death to Kronos is our ultimate goal. So what else can we see here?
Crossroads. That haven hidden twixt the surface and the underworld conceals those still loyal to Lord Hades, rightful ruler of the dead.
Okay.
Together we'll retake my father's realm.
Okay. So not only Olympus, but also the underworld, I guess? And also Logan Cunningham's voice.
Okay.
The voice actor who's done a whole bunch for all of the previous Supergiant Games, and he's just fantastic.
Tough times.
As is, Gen Z, I want to say, is the name of the lead artist?
Already hit
Visual
a
artist,
wall.
that is?
Knocked your scrawny ass all the way back here. It's insane that she's sending you out on foot all on your own.
Okay, I don't know who Nemesis is.
Your skepticism's duly noted.
All of the characters that we have encountered thus far, at least in person, are new and did not appear in the previous game. We can salute the Shades.
Hail, Shades. Our fight is just getting started.
Alright, I guess we're fighting for the Shades, with the Shades, in a way. Who is this?
Tell me you killed the bastard.
Odysseus!
Drove your staff into his wretched skulls with a dagger in his gut. Not that he died from that. Works on mortals, though.
Very interesting to see him. Well, actually, interestingly enough, I mean, there were some other mortal heroes that we saw in the underworld in the previous Hades. I suppose I should say this. We might have some, at least minor, original Hades spoilers as we're going through here. So if you have not yet played the original Hades, do. It's awesome. If you want to check it out before you commit to purchasing it, we did a playthrough of it and went into a whole bunch of detail exploring all the nooks and crannies of the game, so you can check that out as well. But yes, we will probably talk a fair bit about the original Hades as well.
I've nothing to report, Odysseus. Not yet.
Okay.
You'll get it next time, I reckon.
So it'll be interesting to see. I'm already noticing a lot of similarities stylistically between the two games, and just from the manner of which types of NPCs we're interacting with. It's sort of like, oh, well, this is the Achilles of the new Hades game, and so on and so forth. So it'll be interesting to see if it just feels like they've replaced previous characters with new versions of the same character, or if they have different types of roles that characters fill. Oh, well, I was gonna say, is there a new Hypnos? Well, it might just be the same Hypnos.
We'll find a way to wake you, O sleep. I promise.
Okay. So that is the first character we've seen who did exist in the previous Hades. Although we didn't get the chance to talk to him here. Okay, is this... Use the altar to
My altar.
grow stronger, you say. Meditate?
Headmistress lent me the Arcana.
So, in the previous Hades game, there were several ways in which you could upgrade your character, and some of those upgrades would carry over from one run to the next, and in that way, Hades was a rogue-lite, not rogue-like, technically speaking. So it looks like that trend may continue here, and maybe we'll start to learn about some of those things we picked up in our previous run. So while you channel your, whatever that is, moves, everything moves slower for 2 seconds. Press and hold the basic attack. Oh, I don't think I was holding it before. Special or cast to imbue it with magic. Oh, okay, I was holding the cast, the ranged attack. And I guess technically we did have the option of not doing that, and we would have avoided having to use our magic in the process.
The sorceress.
Okay, and by unlocking this, we now have future options. Oh, and that resource is called Ash, apparently. Deal plus 20% damage to foes in your casts. Not with, in your casts is interesting phrasing. After you exit a location, restore 2 health, or twice that if you have no more than 30% health. And that could be useful if we continue to take a bunch of damage that we don't really want to be taking. But I don't think we can afford that right now, can we? Oh, we can.
Wayward son.
Alright, well, take it we shall in that case. Unlocks additional things. Okay, now you can see that the Ash icon in the bottom part of the screen is redded out to suggest we can't afford it. This would be the Huntress. While you have less than 100% magic, your attack and special deals more damage, so you want to use your magic early to get that damage bonus. We also now have access to this, just get extra maximum health and maximum magic. These do have interesting names. They're thematically fitting. The Sorceress, the Wayward Son, Zagreus, oh, the Huntress, the Titan, the Furies, all characters that may have made appearances in the previous game and might make appearances still in Hades 2. This area is big.
The task comes fast.
Okay. Apparently we can't do that right now. Guessing we need to do something in this big circle, but I want to explore around first. Oh.
Allay your fears. She has returned.
Oh, hold on. Is this?
A battle lost. But this is war, young one, and you have many battles yet to come. The only question is, are you prepared to win? I'm not so sure here, so let's see you give me 20.
Okay, Skelly is back.
Commander Skelemius, sir.
Skellanius. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is our our training instructor give us a little bit of extra tips. So attack, pressing this repeatedly. Oh,
Disciples, watch and learn.
yep. We have done that. We have the special. We saw this before. Or did we? Was that? Was I assuming this was the cast? You know, that is the special. I think I was assuming that was the cast, because it resembles the ability that is called cast in the original Hades. Oh, do I need to just press it without charging it up? So I guess if we just do that, it doesn't use any mana, any magic. But if we hold it, then you can see the icon pop up above our head, and then it does cost us. And that was, what, 80 damage versus... Oh, much less than that. So yeah, if you charge it up, it does deal considerably more damage. Okay, there is still a cast ability, though. That is this. Okay, that's what this one is. We did that many times before. It's the AoE. It only deals damage
I am ensnared.
with the initial hit. Oh! Or does it freeze enemies rather than deal direct damage? Okay. You can see the icon, the hands holding him in place, I suppose. Okay, so maybe that was truly an overtime effect, and I just didn't understand what it was supposed to be doing. And we can dash. And we can hold it. I am holding it, oddly enough, but okay.
I wish.
Hmm? Oh, I don't have the mana to do that. Okay. But I am pressing and holding the button you're telling me to hold. I guess we're not allowed to do it because we don't have enough magic, unless maybe we restore it here.
Nights are now at my disposal.
No, this is something entirely different.
Shall be soon enough.
This is us choosing different weapons, and I don't think we can afford any of these right now, but they'll have different abilities, or at least different stat bonuses. Slash with furious attacks, or strike from afar with a flurry of specials. Umbral flames launch damaging ranged attacks as you move, or specials that orbit around you. That sounds cool. Moonstone Axe delivers slow but devastating attacks, or defend and retaliate with your specials. Witch Staff strike with a quick close range attack or long range special, and I still don't know. I don't even know what this icon is called. Looking deep back in the recesses of my mind from Sly Cooper days, it reminds me of that. What is it? The Ankh? Is that technically what it is?
Much
Maybe.
more than just this staff bathing in there.
Can we get magic back? Relaxing, maybe? No? Maybe not? Okay. Well, I'm not sure we can do all these attacks right now, unless the whole strike repeatedly thing.
All right, that's
Suppose we can get that.
Unless you want to keep going.
Hold B to ensnare and destroy.
No use.
Oh, we need, once again, more mana. So yeah, I don't know if we can... There it is. That's what I'm looking
Get
for.
all your magic back.
Restore mana here. So we can test this out.
You can't move.
So you hold them in place, then you can attack. And the other thing is this.
Shall return.
Oh! I guess we didn't do that before. And he goes down after taking enough damage, but comes back. Okay, so we've tested everything out, theoretically. I mean, by no means have I mastered everything. I have no idea what I just did.
Death to Kronos. I'll see to that. No one is more prepared.
That does look incredible.
Beyond the mists of Erebus, there should be a way down. Too
Erebus.
risky heading through Elysium. And too risky to stay. Alright, it's time.
Elysium was a place in the original Hades. Is this us leaving this area? Or just extra lore? Okay, I think we're ready to give this another go. I assume we are approaching the exit. Yep, go out. Or go up. Wait, what? What is the difference? Are there actually two entirely separate choices we can make here?
Find the
I don't know.
Titan, slay the Titan.
We'll see. We went the lower route. This looks similar
The frost.
to what we did last time, or at least the area looks similar to where we were before. So I recognize this symbol from the previous Hades game, and again, several different gods and goddesses that can give you boons, those extra powers that we got last time.
Headmistress told me so much about you, and now at last we meet. In the name of Hades, Olympus, I accept this message.
And this,
Just like your mother,
ooh, is Demeter.
I'll not lose her again. I shall freeze hell in its entirety if that is what it takes to get her back. You'll help me, won't you, granddaughter?
Okay, so, confirmation. Yes, we are daughter of Persephone, presumably sister of Zagreus, daughter of Hades, and that also means that Demeter is, by extension, our grandmother. She is a character, a goddess who existed in the previous game. However, her visuals look totally different. The whole style, in fact, of the character art looks quite different. I'm not yet sure if I like it more or less. It still looks great, don't get me wrong, it's just stylistically quite different. Okay.
Grandmother.
And thematically, she usually gave us a bunch of cold abilities. So our attacks deal more damage and inflict freeze. So this is a new run, for what it's worth, which means any of the abilities that we gained in the previous run are now gone. So we're starting fresh here. So your attacks now deal more damage and inflict freeze. We chose not to take the attack upgrade last time. Maybe we will this time around. Your casts repeatedly deal damage in an area and inflict freeze. Curious how similar that is to the cast from the previous Hades game. Tranquil Gain? What is Tranquil? After remaining inactive for 1 second, rapidly restore magic until you act. That was one somewhat alarming thing. There is not magic in the previous Hades, so that was totally new, and I had kind of assumed that, like many games, we were going to have relatively slow magic or mana restoration over time, but that was not the case at all. So to be able to have that does seem kind of helpful. You'll also see here for the first time, we have 2 of these abilities are in white text and don't have any label in the top right corner, whereas this one at the very bottom, this Tranquil Gain, is blue and says rare in the top right corner, which means theoretically this is a slightly stronger version of this ability. The numbers are a little bit higher than they would be if this were a common white colored ability, as we see with these 2. That being said, I think we still go with the basic attack, just because we didn't get one last time, and I think given how often we were using our main attack, that would be helpful. And we can see we are freezing enemies a bit here. It's very helpful for crowd control, which, when we're just starting out and don't really know what the enemies are doing, or what we're doing, that lowers the risk a bit.
Within mist-shrouded labyrinthine Erebus lie countless souls of the dead, awaiting judgment that shall never come.
Okay.
They'll be judged soon enough.
So Erebus, admittedly, my Greek mythology here, I need to brush up on it. Tartarus is where the original Hades started, and that is the lowest level of the underworld, but I don't know where Erebus is. Presumably it is somewhere in the underworld, but surely it's higher up than Tartarus is, but besides that, I don't know. Okay, so we know this is Ash that we get from completing this. So we've seen these guys before. They're bigger, tankier, they're slower, and I think just do melee stuff. And if we just spam our attack, we can pretty much take them out quickly and easily. I'm going to try doing this, theoretically, to hold them in place. I can't really say that seemed all that effective, though. Trying to... Well, maybe it just slows them. I do see the hands below them. Maybe that is a good way to open up an encounter when we know where the enemies are going to spawn. So we get those in chunks of 5. Is there anything that we can destroy to get additional stuffs? Don't accidentally spend resources, spend magic when we don't have any enemies to attack. So let's keep on moving. I think these guys might be a little bit harder to... Oops! A little bit harder to hit at the very beginning with the AoE, because they were already spawned in. I do like that as an opening move. Those guys do kind of lock onto us, even if we start moving a little bit. That was helpful. That slowed that guy down. Ooh, okay, careful. Yeah, so it's probably going to be a bit of button mashing from me before I really get the feel for which skills to use when and how. And probably a lot of just spamming the attack button, if I'm being brutally honest. Okay, so here This is the icon for Demeter, so we can get more from her. Or this, I think, is probably the icon that we had for Apollo, although I don't remember exactly what his looked like. So, why don't we double down the moment? And, you know, one of the big things about the original Hades was that there were some interesting ways that you could combine different abilities together. And some abilities that are only available in the first place if you do combine things a certain way. So that is where a lot of the long-term replay value comes from in Hades, at least based on the previous game. Again, we're going to do a whole lot of comparing and contextualizing in that way. So I think someone did the math once, and it's some absolutely absurd number when you consider all the different ways in which you can customize your character over the course of a run. It was, you know, something in the billions, something like that for the first Hades. So, supposedly, Hades 2 already has more content than the first Hades did, so that may mean there's a whole lot of stuff for us to see here. So now we can upgrade our special to deal more damage and inflict freeze, which our main attack does, and we've already seen, although I'm not sure I read the description for it before. Afflicted foes are stopped for 2 seconds, can be reapplied after 10 seconds. Already, great first impression. It seems incredibly useful, at least against these relatively basic enemies. So getting more freeze does sound intriguing. Your casts repeatedly deal damage in area and inflict freeze. We did see that as an option before. So the cast is the area of effect that I was using as our opening move. It doesn't deal damage, but it further slows enemies. So this would at least give us some damage from it. Otherwise, your freeze effects last longer. I kind of like that. Especially if we're spamming the main attack, then this just makes those freezes from the main attack even more effective. Let's go for it.
For my mother.
Okay. Any other stuff around here to interact with? I don't think so. Getting a lot of these ash rooms, which is probably not a bad thing, because those do give us some long-term upgrades. Oh, I walked into that one. I got distracted, wondering if I got hit by, one of the previous attacks, and glanced over in the bottom left corner at the health bar, and in doing so, got hit by an actual attack. There you see. Very long freeze duration, and very decent range on our attack. I was trying to go for this. Guess we have to hold it for the full duration. You can't release it midway through.
There.
So we used a little bit of the magic, although saved up most of that. Okay, I thought some other sound effects there. Made me think there might be other things in this room. Maybe I'm making that up, though. For what it's worth, I may have accidentally ran past some things that are interactable, and I'm sorry if I did, but we'll try to be thorough here. Okay, so I do recognize icons from the previous go-round of the original Hades. This should be a shop, which if you're wondering what that money in the bottom right corner does, this theoretically would be the place where we spend that, and that money only lasts for this specific run and then gets reset at the end of the run. So we need to spend that at some point, relatively soon. This is another god. You can probably guess, based on the icon, which one it is. Notably, also has that little skull below it. That is significant, because that means this should be a mini-boss battle. And that was a kind of a subtle icon in the first Hades game. Took me a little while, to be honest, to realize that that was a meaningful distinction. I do like, though, how this one not only has the skull below the trident, but also has the little arrows floating around the trident, which I think makes it a little more obvious. This is not your usual room. So this one would be difficult. This one would be, well, potentially no combat at all. Let's tempt fate a little bit here. We also get a little bit of health restoration in between rooms, which is nice. Okay, so this could be really tough. Okay, you're doing, well, you were frozen. Okay. Take your word for it. Definitely do have to move. I do like how, when we're running away from that attack, which I think we now need to do again, probably should be dashing, to be honest with you. But it more or less lasts for the 10-second duration, which means we can refreeze you. So remember, once they get frozen, we have to wait something like 10 seconds before we can do it again. But it is more or less perfect timing in that regard. Okay, now You may have noticed that some enemies have an orangish, yellowish life bar. That is basically armor.
Foul spirit.
It's an extra layer of health, and usually what happens is, well, obviously it means those enemies are tankier, they have more health, they take longer to destroy, but usually the enemies that have that extra life bar don't get stunned when they have that initial armor life bar, and only once you remove that and you get to the red health bar do they actually start to get staggered and stunned from your attacks. So you saw that once we did get rid of that first life bar, much easier to basically just spam the attack button and take that enemy down.
You're one of my father's brothers, aren't you? Then help him. In the name of Hades, Olympus, I accept this message.
Alright, you probably guessed who this is already. But also the other thing is, it seems like not only has Olympus been attacked or something like that, Hades himself is in some kind of danger or has been, well, I mean, he hasn't been killed, he's a god. But that is interesting. Want to learn more about that. Oh, Poseidon looks glorious.
The same fate as your father, and your mother, and your brother. Oh. Well, how about we turn the tide and exact terrible revenge for poor old Hades and his kin?
Okay. So, I'm pretty sure same voice actor, or at least same, yeah. I think Logan Cunningham, the person who I was mentioning earlier, I don't remember if he voiced Poseidon in the first game. If so, then this is definitely the same person here. But he voiced several characters in the first Hades, did an amazing job at that. And I do also like how there are tons, I mean tons of custom lines in the first Hades, and it sounds like there will be a ton of them in the new Hades as well, and they will adapt to the situation you find yourself in. So, of course, at the beginning, it's going to be a lot of us introducing ourselves to these characters and vice versa. Hopefully learning more about the big picture, what's going on here. Okay, so we have a bunch of rare options. That might not be a coincidence, since we did just take on a mini-boss. So, Wave Flourish, your specials hit foes with a splash that knocks other foes away. Knockback was the big thing for Poseidon in the first Hades, and that may remain the case here. Your sprint deals damage on impact and knocks foes away, but uses magic per hit. Okay, that gives me a little pause. Flood Control, it's a great name. After you enter a location, Prime 30 magic? I have to read what that does. To reduce any damage you would take. Damage reduction per hit, -3. Okay, so entering a new location, that is self-explanatory, but the Prime is a passive reduction to your magic limit until the next location. Wait, what? So, does that mean we temporarily reduce our magic by 30? Why would we want to do that? Oh, to reduce the... So you basically spend the magic in order to give yourself damage reduction, is how I'm interpreting this. So it's a trade-off, and we have to judge whether we think that's worthwhile. Could it be? I mean, it might. Reduce any damage you take, -3 per hit. I mean, we could use the defenses. So, and we aren't using much magic, so maybe we'll try it out.
Our enemies drown.
It's a relatively simple build, if you want to call it a build at this stage.
The ever-restless shades of Erebus find little peace there, save for the prickly embrace of the gnarled branches of those writhing woods.
Am I fighting the spirits or the woods?
That is an interesting point. I'm not super clear on what exactly we are fighting at this stage, because in the first Hades it was, you know, ghouls and things of that nature, but these look more like woodland spirits.
Farther than last time.
Oh, okay. So that's good.
Whalers.
Okay, well, whalers, whatever those mean. Guessing some kind of banshee-like shrieking creature. Should be this. That freeze is so huge. Love it. Really helpful. Okay, it would also help, though, if I... Oh! Move in the right direction. There was the freeze attack. Or rather, the shouting attack. We anticipated we might see.
One left.
And I do like how you can tell how when we do the combo for the attack, the initial hit just hits one target, but the second and third hit have a much wide, or at least a somewhat wider area, and so they can hit multiple targets. Okay, a fair bit more of that ash. Okay, this again we assume to be obols, money, and then this I do not know what that is at all, so I am intrigued, and for science, let's go this way. Okay, so you're the shrieking enemies. Ooh, okay, so enemies with armor. Again, they are trickier, harder to stun,
For what you did to me.
although able to break through. I'm trying to proactively do that. Okay, but they have a large circle-y area of effect, so I don't want to get trapped in a corner with them. Ooh, you are more mobile than I gave you credit for. You are a lot more mobile than I gave you credit for. Look at that. When the enemies are bunched together like that, we can take out a lot of them very quickly. Okay, so, oh, does this increase our maximum magic? Okay, I see. So now we've functionally negated the penalty that we took by reducing our damage. Is this something we can interact with? No? Okay. 2 rooms. More of... Oh, wait. This is Ash. What is this one? We've definitely seen this before, but I don't remember. Alright, let's do it. Do not recall. Oh, these are the little dudes we saw before. Also a bit of an area of effect. So, of course, a lot of the game comes down to understanding and mastering how to take on specific enemies, and naturally, as the game goes on, we will face more difficult enemies. I definitely did not need to do that. That was very overkill. Okay, that was also probably overkill if we were to have done it, although I don't think I technically spent the magic for it. I mean, we did increase our maximum magic, so maybe it's not the end of the world. Also that for the range. There we go. It's the dash. It's the thing that's thrown me off a little bit. There's a bit of a delay, seemingly, before it activates, so you can't quite do it at the very last second. I think it's gotten me in trouble a few times. Ooh, not expect you to spawn right on top of us. Don't really want to be right next to you either. Okay, we can outrange a lot of the enemies, technically speaking, although we've seen what those screamy dudettes can do. If we give them the chance, they will mess us up. Even from range, they'll chase us down. But as you can see, you know, we've powered up our main attack, and I'm a big fan of the freeze effect. It's proven very effective thus far. That's some kind of other type of currency that I think we carry over into, in between rounds. So the monies do not carry over, the boons do not carry over, but the ash does. And whatever this thing is, I think also does. But I really don't have a sense for which one we prefer between these two, because I don't even remember how you use that. So maybe we go ash this time. We're making some decent progress at this rate, which I'm sure has now jinxed things. Look at how many armored enemies we have. So I'm deliberately kind of just going to spam right now, because there are a lot of dudes. Don't really want them to be able to corner us, and they very much would have if we'd given them that opportunity. Ranged attacks. Like this. If we let them get an attack off, we would have been toast, I think. So we can just do the basic ranged attack an unlimited number of times, I suppose. Damage is pretty low, but it's a low-risk way to engage some enemies. No need to get closer to those guys.
For now.
Okay, we can press this for our inventory. Ashes, mostly used for unlocking Arcana cards, versus Psyche, mostly used to raise Grasp, to activate more Arcana cards. Oh! Do we unlock them to at least gain access to them, but then we have a separate way in which we choose which ones among that group that we have active in a given run So basically, you start off with the ashes, and then from there, use the psyche. Okay. Might be starting to get it a bit... Oh, and what is this?
Molly.
I did not catch what she said, but that's something of some significance, it seems. Okay, so we know this is increasing our maximum magic. We've done that at least once, really not using it all that much because we built so much around our main attack, and I really like our main attack. This is a new god or goddess, and I mean, surely you know what this one is, right? Seems like we can still sort of stun even the armored versions of these people. Thankfully, in situations like this, oh well, it's not the stun, it's the freeze. So between the freeze and the stun effect from our basic attack, that is really helpful. Okay, I got a little too greedy there. Oh, that lasts a long time as well. Something hit us there, maybe ever so slightly. A rain kill. Not seen many of those. Oh, dash. Saw you coming. I wasn't gonna let that happen. So these guys are, although they haven't proven to be much of an issue, they're a little trickier than they might initially seem, because they start up the animation as if they're trying to attack us, then they still, and usually, obviously, you want to dodge out of the way of that, but they still move around a little bit, still change the way they're aiming a little bit, even after starting that animation.
Not just love. In the name of Hades, Olympus, I accept this message.
Why, hello, gorgeous.
Had to be Aphrodite, of course.
You can break some hearts even without my aid. Oh, your brother would be so proud, knowing you're fighting for your kin.
Definitely, once again, same voice actress from last time. I used to remember her name, but I don't anymore. I'm sorry, but great. Love to see it. And now we have a few more options. Flutter Flourish. Your specials deal more damage to nearby foes. Our special is the one where we do the circle around us, right? So we are usually doing that to enemies close up, although it's not really for damage, it's for area of effect and crowd control more than anything. So I'm not sure if that's going to help us all that much. Our casts drag foes in and inflict weak. That means afflicted foes deal at least 10% less damage. Lasts 3 seconds. By at least, do you mean we can stack that multiple times, potentially? Otherwise, healthy rebound. Whenever you exit a location, restore 100% health if you have not lost too much. Oh, that's interesting. So basically that means if you don't take much damage, you will fully heal. If you do take a lot of damage, you will not heal at all. There was something that was basically the opposite effect in the previous Hades game, but I don't think there was anything like this. Not where it rewarded you for only taking a little bit of damage. That's kind of intriguing. I feel like, you know, I'm not exactly all that optimistic about us consistently not taking a lot of damage, so I'm not sure how useful that's truly going to be for us. But we could give it a shot. Otherwise, I'm not a huge fan of this, and I'm also not a huge fan of us bringing enemies in closer to us. For the most part, we want to keep them at a range, so I think we might take this.
I have much to learn from her, I think.
Okay, and I also noticed this here, which previous Hades players might also recognize as what appears to be a fishing location. Fishing was a thing, a little mini-game in the original Hades, gave us a way to get additional loots, but we don't have a fishing rod at the moment, so I don't think we can do anything with that. Okay, so here we have a pomegranate. Okay, I suppose a bit of a spoiler there. Well, it's the same icon as the previous Hades, which, based on the previous Hades, would allow us to upgrade one of our existing boons to a higher level. So there's both the rarity of the boon, which was, again, the color of it. So we have this, which is a common white boon, and we have this, which is a rare blue boon. Once again, a common boon here. So that affects the numerical value of the abilities. And then there's also level, which also affects the numerical value of the abilities. So Palm is a way to increase the power of the abilities by leveling them up, but we still have the shop option. And with 167 obols, I think we take this. I suspect this may be the last room before a rather notable room. Interesting music as well. Very different. Oh, wait, it is a remix of the previous shop music. Is it? Charon? It is. Oh, okay, so interesting. This, I'm fairly certain, is one of those placeholder character models that I was referring to, the 2D art, at least. Because Charon was actually one of, if not the last, NPC to get character art in the previous Hades game. So there was a long time when he just looked like this, but eventually made a really good 2D model for him, so hopefully we'll see one of those come out soon.
I'm in your debt, Lord Charon. These provisions surely shall make all the difference in my task. What gold I find is yours.
Okay, so this is where we spend our gold, our obols in the top, or bottom right corner. In fact, Melanaway just referred to it as gold. I wonder if that is now the terminology rather than obols, because gold is certainly more familiar terminology for most people. So this gives us some health. This gives us a mini pomegranate. So again, the pomegranate, the full version, gives you usually a choice between 3 different boons. You can select which one you want to upgrade by 1 level, whereas this little pomegranate slice instead just upgrades a random boon. You have no input whatsoever on which one gets the upgrade. And then obviously this is a boon from Aphrodite. So I think we take this.
This one, please.
It's the biggest thing we can afford.
Bit of battlefield relief delivered courtesy of the feared boatman himself. Come on, we all have fantasies, gorgeous.
And as you can see here, she's customized her line a little bit to the situation we find ourselves in here. We are visiting Charon. Okay, and let's see what our options are this time. So once again, it's the close-up damage. Not a huge fan of that. The Glamour Gain. It's a funny name. In each encounter, one foe is always weak. You gradually restore magicka near weak foes. Magic restoration, 6 every 1 second. That seems like a lot. I'm half tempted by that, especially given how I have a sense as to what the next encounter is going to be, or at least what type of encounter we're about to run into next. Secret Crush. After you enter a location, prime 20 magic, as we did with one of our other abilities, to add power to your attack. Okay, so it's basically a semi-permanent 20 magicka penalty in exchange for a permanent 5 attack power bonus. And as I was saying, I'm really liking our base attack, so I am a little bit tempted there. I wish the number was a little bit higher, though. This does seem more interesting. So in the interest of spicing things up a little bit more, let's go for the Glamour Gain.
My heart.
Even if, under other circumstances, I might just go for the attack boost. Take a quick look, make sure we're not missing anything else here. I don't think so. So we're on 45 out of 55 health, 50 out of 50 magic, and you'll see this icon for this next room looks totally different from anything we've seen before. And it has what is almost like a skull, although it's more like a red devil. And in the previous Hades, there was always the option of a shop, or in some cases, a pomegranate room just before the first boss fight. So as soon as I saw we had the option of either the shop or the pomegranate room, I suspected that's what we were headed in for. So let's see what we have here.
Headmistress.
Oh? What?
There she is.
I thought you were our friend,
Welcome to the edge of
Hecate.
Erebus. Well done, Melanaway.
Are we about to fight you? I thought you were our mentor.
Thank you, Headmistress Hecate. I could not have reached this point without your guidance.
Yeah, about that.
And in turn, you shall not pass this point without a demonstration of your capability.
Okay, against you, or are you introducing us to the first boss enemy?
My capability? You'd have us face each other here, even though my task has already begun.
Your training shall never be complete.
Oh,
And I would know if you stand any chance at all against our enemy.
alright. Looks like we are fighting her then. Well, that's exciting. I have no idea what that's gonna do. So one of the reasons why I wanted to weaken one of the enemies for this encounter was because I anticipated we were going to be going up against a boss fight. And if there is only... Ooh, oh my goodness. If there is only one enemy in this encounter, then presumably that is the one enemy who is going to be weakened. I don't know what that was all about, though. Oh, is that her or is that a friend that she created? I can't tell because she looks different. Oh, what is this? What is this? Some of those seem to disappear quickly, but then others don't. Okay, I'm pretty sure we were saved by some iframes there. Noticeably, she does not seem to freeze in quite the same way that the other enemies did. Okay, how many attacks does she have in her combo? 2? 1, 2. Then we attack. And then, oh, ow. She does that. 1, 2. Then we attack. If I were in range, except that I wasn't. Okay, this was maybe not the best place to try to dodge. Oh, do we need to attack those guys? Maybe not. Is that double attack? Oh, hold on. This is the one where she has 2. But when she does that attack that has 2 angles to it... Okay, no, you just don't attack it. You just run. Except you kind of gotta move. I'm not really sure how useful that's going to be against her. It's really the one move that I've not been using thus far. No, that was supposed to be a dodge. Nope, don't stand there. Yeah, that should have been a double. Okay, move. So these guys move around. Sort of. They will corner us if we're not careful, but it seems like eventually, yeah, they just go away, and then we can, ow, pay them no mind. Okay, yep. I'm guessing we don't want to stand there. Oh, okay, you have other friends, I see. These remind me a lot more of some of the Hades 1 enemies. Witches, I think they were called, which is maybe fitting, given how Pelnaway is, her title was Witch of some variety. That does not have enough range, does it? Back to these two. Oh, no, this is different. Can we attack these guys? No, we cannot. No, we cannot. No, we cannot destroy them. We must dodge them. Okay. Learning the painful way, but of course that's sort of how this is supposed to work. And I'm sure, you know, again, obviously we're not gonna, you know, do an amazing job with our first attempt here on most of the things that we encounter. So I'm sure DPS-wise, we are setting no world records. Oh, it's back to this. Okay. Not really sure if that does anything against the fake Hecates. Gonna do that again, then we attack you. Hence the... Okay, it's another double. Okay, that doesn't sound good. How's that? Might have done something? Okay, well, that was not good, though. Okay, so once again, the series of projectiles. A little bit of a bullet hell. She always do that move once we exit that phase? She might. 1, 2. Attack window. That was a short window. Bigger projectiles to dodge this time. Did they travel the full length of the arena? Ooh, she is up before that phase ended. Devious. See, I'm sure there are more ways in which to deal damage to her. And we could probably be more creative with our ranged attacks. Oh, okay. Made it to a third phase, I guess. What is that? We're a sheep! She turned us into a sheep! What the heck? That's not fair! How do we break out? Oh, like that, okay. Pretty sure we were not supposed to be a sheep for that long. Okay, we are definitely about to die, though. Gotta get rid of some of these people. But if we take one hit, I'm pretty sure we're dead. Oh, get out. Get out. Okay, well, we made it to what I'm hoping is basically the third and final phase. So So we've learned a bit. Oh, those bounce. Which is kind of terrifying as well. So yeah, we've seen a lot of different moves, which is cool. To see the extent of this boss's skills, we might have just now started to see everything that she has in her arsenal. Oh, you sneaky little sneak. Probably could and should be doing more of this. But now we don't have the magic to do it. No, don't do that. Although that was sort of a window, except maybe it wasn't. We can do that pretty quickly. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't like this. I don't like that. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, we don't have that range. Don't get greedy. Nope. Don't get greedy. Okay. Find a happy place. Find a happy place. I would love just a tiny bit of health restoration. I feel like that would go a very long way right about now. Ooh, you teleported right next. You teleported right next to me. Almost walked into what was probably damaging range there. Those bounce. Patience. I don't know how close we can really get there. And I'm pretty sure I missed those attacks. Ooh, devious. Ooh, close. So it feels like we're dealing no damage, which I'm sure is mostly a me thing. Ooh, that felt like that was it. Every once in a while, my dash button is just sticking on my controller a little bit. It's just gonna get me in trouble, I'm pretty sure. It's already felt like it's gotten close. Oh, you're not done. Are you done? You are done. Oh, we're toast. We are so toast. That only deals 1 damage. We are actually not toast. Not sure if those hit. Nope. Okay, fortunately they're all on the same side of the arena. One's real, you're real. Okay, remember those bounce? So we're chipping away at her health, but oh so slowly. So maybe there's some weak phase that I'm not taking advantage of. Ooh, this is a little iffy positionally. Which one's real? The one with the hearts is real. Ooh, that was close. Still there? You are still there. You are right on top of us. I don't like that. This is also an a remix of the Hades theme. Little offshoot of it. No, no, no. Not this. Not now. Not when I'm stuck there. Okay, which one's real? You are. Ooh, devious. Oh, devious. That was close. Real one is here. We did it! I did not think we were going to be able to do it. We survived with a tiny sliver of health. As I said, definitely the least efficient fight you could ever see for that.
And with ferocity. But surely there is more for you to learn beyond this threshold.
But we definitely did learn a lot about that boss fight. It was very cool. A lot of interesting mechanics there. It just felt like, you know, maybe our build is terrible, maybe I'm terrible, but it seemed like our damage was awfully low.
I look forward to it, Headmistress. What about you? Can you not join me?
No, I dare not
No.
stray too far from our abode. Continue now your task. I shall await your safe return.
Okay, probably won't be long now.
Thank you, Headmistress.
We are very weak,
I passed the test.
but we get
Cinder.
Cinder, which presumably is a especially good resource of some variety. So yeah, it may be that I just didn't have enough time to charge up big attacks. Maybe shouldn't have just spent magic right there, but now we proceed. And things
Pathways down.
may get a little different now. We can use this to restore a tiny bit of health, which is,
Can't
well,
recover here. Need to press on.
maybe enough for us to make a little more progress, but as we'll see now,
Beginning descent.
we will descend into a different area
The air's thick.
that looks different now in Oceanus. Enemies presumably will now be different as well. Not sure why these are glowing. Part of me wants to hit them, part of me does not want to hit them. Music, very different. This is definitely, what's her name? Ashley Barrett, I should remember her name. It's Ashley Barrett, right? The lead singer from all the other Supergiant Games. Absolutely amazing voice. And Darren Korb, who is the other person behind, he's the lead musician, but he doesn't do as many of the vocals. But they've done an amazing job on the other games, and I'm hoping that they have even more amazing songs for this one. I'm gonna try that. Does that do anything? These explode? Yes, they do. I suspected as much. Oh, and they can chain reaction like that. Okay. So we're learning. That is definitely good to know. There are some traps in the original Hades game, so not that crazy to see new ones here. Oh. Who is this? Apparently we know this person.
You're a long way from the crossroads, Trouble. So this is where the real action is, huh?
Eris.
Aren't you supposed to still be practicing?
Strife incarnate. Oh, that's not a good sign.
Things took a turn, Eris. You know how it goes. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some urgent business to attend to.
Always in such a rush. I'd really hate to slow you down. Though, let's hang out sometime, okay? Have a great night.
So she is sort of new to Hades 2. She was not in Hades 1, at least not in person. However, there was a weapon that was named after her, and it looks like she might be holding it. So if so, that is very fitting.
Oh, one last thing.
Oh, uh-oh, what is this? Blessed by Strife?
What did she do to me?
Blessed, with air quotes. Your foes deal plus 20% damage. This grows each encounter? Oh, man. So, that's a pretty serious debuff. That stinks. So in the first Hades, there were these optional rooms, these chaos rooms. You could voluntarily go down them. You would take a little bit of damage in the process. But furthermore, you would temporarily face a debuff that would last for, say, 4 or 5 rooms. And then if you successfully made it through that entire duration with the debuff would then go away and you would receive a pretty strong buff. So you experience these temporary debuffs. If you can make your way through them, get a much better long-term gain. So I see the debuff. I don't see the gain here. There is no upside that I can see right now. So I'm curious if this is the new version of Chaos or if this is just purely a debuff and nothing else. Well, let's head down. We are in this new zone. Should face, yes, new enemies. They are probably stronger, they are probably more complicated, and therefore, we probably will find ourselves going down fairly quickly here, which is why I'm not terribly optimistic for how much longer this run is going to last. Although, with the help of the freeze, it has been absolutely carrying us. Oh, what is that? Okay, those enemies explode. But between the freeze and, again, just the basic stun, okay, those guys have a projectile attack. And it tracks us. And I was focusing on you rather than the other dude. Okay, we cannot destroy the projectile, notably. I would like to get out of here. I think this guy's gonna explode once we do that, so we want to get out of there. So yeah, already seeing some more complex mechanics. Okay, I didn't really want to be right on top of you, especially not when you were about to explode like that. You can see one of these enemies, this one that we're attacking right now, has the pink little circle around it, which means it's the one that's getting the debuff from, and now this one's getting the debuff from one of our Aphrodite goons. Did that hit us from there? I'm not entirely sure. So part of me wants to hold down the attack button for better damage, but that usually costs us more mana, depending on exactly how long we hold it for. I don't know if it's possible to hold it, get a little more damage, while not quite holding it long enough to cost mana, or magic, I should say. But yeah, just listen to that humming. Reminds me so much of Transistor, for those of you who played that game. Fantastic. If you haven't, definitely try it out. Okay, we know what this is. We do not know what this is. So, I'm not sure we're going to make it through to find out, but we'll try. We are healing a little bit in between zones, which does help. These little floaty projectiles may very well be the end of us. It would also help if we hit the enemies. Oh, yeah, that's definitely not a good idea. Alright, well, down we go. Also, little thing, I think it said we were going down lower with each zone, whereas
You there?
in the original Hades, we went up. So I suppose we are now going back up, in a way.
You might like it down in Oceanus better than I do right now.
And that suggests we are going deeper into the underworld, rather than trying to escape the underworld. Unlike the previous Hades. We can either salute or talk?
Hail, spirit.
You invoke me?
Apparently.
A scourge upon your bloodline for resummoning me, witch!
Hey, everything okay there, Mel?
So does Dora just do this thing where she pretends to be this really ominous, mean, cranky spirit, but in truth is actually just our good friend? Because that's kind of the sense I'm getting.
Oh, yes, Dora. It's just... I should have gone farther that time. I'll give more notes on your haunting later, alright?
You're haunting.
Oh, sure.
Okay. So she, like, supposed to be this mean shade, and she just isn't supposed to be nice to us for that reason, and therefore she needs to at least give off the perception that she's doing her job. But then once the first introduction is through, then, you know, we can be friends once again. Well, we can walk around here once again. I suppose maybe we'll do a little bit just to see if we can learn anything else from our previous run, but I think that will probably be our last run of the day. But let's see what exactly this cauldron is all about, and maybe Hecate will have something to say after we defeated her.
Last night I dreamt of this.
Oh? What do we have here? Okay, what are these? Fated intervention. Beseech the three fates to lend their aid in a time of great need. Not even the Titan of Time, Kronos, the person we're apparently facing as our main enemy, ought to be able to escape what the fates may have in store for him, whatever that may be. Three fates, hidden daughters of Nyx. Each accidental bit of chance is likely their deliberate intent. So it's unclear what that actually does, though. We don't quite have what it takes to purchase it, it seems. Oh, bones, I recognize that icon is what we would have gotten for the reward from the room that we went down in. Persuade the wretched broker to appear, with whom you may trade bones for various resources. I assume wretched broker would assail shade that once served the treasury of the House of Hades. Oh! At first I thought that was Charon, but no, there was a character whose name was the wretched broker. He would hang out in the main lobby area of the original Hades, and he was the person, the NPC you would talk to purchase oftentimes cosmetic upgrades, not as much for direct gameplay related things, although there were a few that still fell under that category. So it might be similar here. Then we have Knight's Craftwork. That looks like a pickaxe, potentially another weapon. So reveal gathering tools within the silver pool. Unlock them to gather silver and psyche. Silver mostly used for unlocking main weapons. Okay. Gotcha. Psyche, mostly used to raise grasp, and we were reading about this before, and is used to activate Arcana cards, which admittedly we might not have done yet. The earth yields its splendors readily to those bearing night silver and a worthy purpose. Okay, oh, we can afford this one. Okay, that's the only one we can afford at the moment. So maybe just for the sake of testing this out, let's go for it.
Dark of chaos, light of moon, heed now my will.
I think that was the flower we picked up
So
in that
mote
run.
it be.
So mote it be.
Okay, so that's a thing. Crafting of sorts. Let's see if Hecate has anything to say after we defeated her, and not really sure what the whole salute thing is, but I guess we'll salute everyone that we walk up to as well.
Be well, headmistress.
And you, Melanoy.
Okay, interesting that Hecate was totally fine with us saluting, whereas the previous person we spoke to, Dora, did not take too kindly to it.
At least our cauldron's finally purified, praise the fates. Speaking of which, are you as yet considering an invocation to them? I have my doubts that they would listen even now.
One of the options was based on the fates, but we couldn't afford it.
If there's any chance the three fates shall aid us.
Sorry.
I'd offer such reagents if I could, but as you venture past this glade, look carefully along your path and you shall find them. Fate's willing.
Remember when I said that my dash button was getting stuck sometimes? Well, that was the dash button, and it did get stuck there, and I accidentally skipped that dialogue a little bit. I'm sorry.
Yes, headmistress.
Okay. Anyone else to speak to or things to interact with? Nemesis over here, I think was her
You
name.
passed her little test that time. Must have felt so good beating her ass to the ground. Don't get to spar with her, so I can only imagine.
Yeah, and I'm sure, in time, as was the case with the first bosses in the original Hades, the first boss is Hecate, is going to become fairly easy once you get used to her attack patterns, which we did start to do, but get a better sense for how to deal damage is probably the bigger thing for us right now.
We're not just sparring. You don't know our craft.
Oh. It's so much more than sparring, okay? You don't even understand.
I know I could take her.
I don't know about
Odysseus not
that.
checking on reports.
Oh. Odysseus is gone. Okay. We can salute the shades.
May moonlight guide you.
Hypnos... Talk? Question mark? Still very much asleep.
May you have pleasant dreams.
So maybe that's... Actually, I'd be kind of curious. Obviously, at some point, he would wake up, I would think. But is that something that exists in early access, or will we have to wait until the full release before that becomes possible? I don't know. Okay, then there was this area here. We can meditate. I don't want to start a new run,
The altar of ashes.
but as we were starting to learn, we can spend our ashes and then activate these using our psyche as well. So we have what looks to be 16 ash, and this costs 10. I mean, these look like they're highlighted, as if they're activated. So, I think we can, at least as things currently stand, afford to activate... Oh, you can see the psyche cost in the top right corner there, I think. That sort of teal-colored hand with a 1 next to it. This one has a 2 next to it.
The Titan.
But extra health, extra magic, that seems like that could be very useful. Then with just 9 ash, we can't afford anything else anymore, but I think the extra health and magic could prove quite useful. This was the Titan. He stole from gods the gift of fire for mortals. Thus he suffered, but grew strong. Okay, and yeah, then we have the option to deactivate if we wanted to, although... Oh, and we can see in the top right corner with Melanoe's head, the 4 out of 10. So, yes, we still have the capacity to take on a fair bit more of these upgrades. We just can't afford to unlock them in the first place just yet.
Very well.
But that gives us a better sense for what some of your goals are as you start to play the game and replay the game, and why it is a roguelite. So we could test out more skills here, although I don't really think there's too much for us to do in that regard.
There's something new here.
Except that we did unlock a new weapon. Strike with the quick close range attack or long range special and Ankh moves or mana moves. Wait. No, hold on. No, it's this. Crescent Pick. Gather from minerals deposits for valuable silver and more. Oh! Is this... Yeah, similar to the fishing rod from the previous Hades, which you used in very specific situations when there were fishing spots to collect more resources with a little minigame. It's a different way of getting a similar type of thing where we mine silver using our pickaxe. I said it looked like a pickaxe. It is a pickaxe, I guess. Its engraving suggests the humility and restraint expected of its bearer.
The Crescent Pick. Reveal to me the bounties of the earth.
So it's not a weapon.
It shall serve you well.
I don't think. I think it's for utility purposes. And it looks like, although it's grayed out, well, it's sort of the see-through shadowy color, but it has that ring around it, which I suppose is the indication that we've unlocked it. Based on how many dots we have here, it looks like there's about 5 more we could get of the passive variety, and saw the fishing rod look to be one of them. And these,
There she is again at last.
I would assume, then, are all the spots for the different weapons, which would also mean that there are 5 more. Let's see what you have to say to it. Well, salute first.
Death
Manners.
to Kronos, Commander.
Yeah, kill him.
Yeah, kill him.
Being a shadowy denizen of the underworld comes with certain perks, young one. Take, for instance, how, when you dash, nothing can touch you.
I love it's still the same voice of Skelly from the previous game, but it's just a little bit of extra flourishes to it. But yes, I did notice this. It's not just that obviously you move a little more quickly, but it had what felt to be more iframes, more invincibility frames than the dash from the original Hades. So a little more forgiving in that way, although it did have, as I mentioned before, seemingly a little bit of a delay before it registered, or maybe it was just that I was always in the middle of some other animation when I pressed the dodge button, was being too greedy with my attacks, and that might have been why that was happening.
We are the unseen, at one with the darkness and the dead. I can evade anything, yes, but only for a moment, and even then, I can't prevail by dodging all night long.
Okay. Telling.
Yeah, I'd do it all the time if I was you. See the little trail when you dash? Once it snaps back, you're good to go again.
Okay. Oh, so I think what that is trying to explain to us is basically you can't chain multiple dashes together in a row. You have to wait a little bit. You have basically a dash cooldown, and that is the visual indicator of when we're ready to dash again. The little trail will go away.
The shadow follows.
Like this is me spamming the dash button as quickly as I can. You'll see there's a little bit of a delay in between dashes. Restore mana, but we don't really need to.
The Crossroads training grounds are watched over by fearless seafarer Skelemius, famed in death as he was famed in life.
Of course.
We cannot fail with such a genius on our side.
We never will. Nobody says. Love him.
I'll get through all that gloom somehow.
And we did at least get through the first level, the first floor in that previous run. That is a beautiful background as well. Love it. Wait, how high up does it go? Okay, it stops there. Just curious. Alright, but as I said, I think that's a good place for us to wrap up here, because otherwise, we're looking at starting our next run. There was that question about what is the difference between going out in this direction or going up in this direction. Because I did note how I noticed in the previous run, Melanoe mentioned that she was going downward, and that seems to be consistent with how this is a downward staircase. But maybe we have the option of doing that or conversely going upward, and maybe running into completely different types of areas if we go in this direction. So maybe we'll have to do that next time. But either way, it looks like there is a lot of stuff to do, even in the early access mode of Hades 2. And of course, there are still a lot of additional things to unlock, enemies to encounter, zones to find, bosses to face, and we've only just started to uncover what the major plot line is trying to take down Kronos, because apparently he's attacked Olympus and done something to Hades. So hopefully, if you wanted to get a little bit of a sense of what Hades 2 was all about before picking it up, this gives you a good look. Gameplay-wise, it does feel very similar to the original Hades, so if you liked Hades 1, then I think you will like Hades 2 as well. Obviously, the game is still in early access, so there's still a lot more that they're going to add to the game. I'm excited to play some more Hades 2. Let me know what you think about the game. If you're interested in seeing more of the original Hades, we have a playlist for that, as well as all of the other Supergiant games, Bastion, Transistor, Pyre, and, of course, the previous Hades, all of which are fantastic, as well as some Pyre multiplayer that we are streaming every Sunday. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.